So here we are. We're here to talk about crafting the perfect user journey to keep your members engaged, right? So we love our members, but as associations, and that's our specialty, working with associations. Let me just shrink this down so you can see my screen a little better. Your stakeholders it's very complicated with many, many layers. So we want to talk to you about what's specific for you guys today for, what just happened there? Okay, so what we're going to learn today, we're going to understand these words: user experience, the UX, UI, user interface, and user journeys, specific for associations. So if you're a brick and mortar shop, if you're a gym, if you're a hotel, you know, we sort of know that when you're working with membership, working with prospects, working with donors, it's very, very nuanced. And we're here to talk to you about how to make it specific for your associations and about that anatomy of a great user journey for an association. We had quite a few excellent questions that were submitted beforehand. We welcome you to ask your questions live here on the call or to put them in chat. And at the end of the presentation, we'll dive into answering some of your questions after that. We're also going to talk about some cost-effective changes you can make. This is wonderful music to our ears. Associations are often short-staffed, low budget. All of our clients always say to us, we are a small team, and they tell us their number, and we tell them that's pretty normal. It's pretty, you know, bare bones at a lot of associations. You're wearing a lot of hats. And from our perspective, it's very easy to come in as a consultant, as a developers, and give you guys, you know, solutions that have a $100,000 price tag or $50,000 price tag. That's not how we operate. We understand that we have to break up bigger dreams into smaller, manageable chunks that we can actually execute and then build with each stage in an affordable way. And we're going to help you get started with that later. We're going to give you a little offer to help you started to define how to do that in a cost-effective way. Oops, 1 second here. Okay, so quick question to get us started. Let's get in the mindset here. On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with the UX, UI, or user journeys on your website? And maybe the answer is, I'm not really sure. I don't know what these terms mean just yet. I didn't hit Wikipedia yet. But give me an idea. Mention in chat. Nikki will call out for us what's going on there. How satisfied are you? So I guess some questions you would ask ourselves are people exploring the content on the page? Are your pages getting hits? Are your buttons getting clicked? What do your analytics look like? Nikki, anybody commenting?
Oh yeah, Nicola said 4, or Urko said 5, and Victor said 4.
Okay. So
and Tara said 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Megan 4.
I can tell you that in the next an hour, 30 minutes, what do we got there, Nikki?
And Jennifer says unsure. She's not sure.
Unsure. Okay, that's a great answer. You're going to leave here with a better idea, and I'm going to give you action items and suggestions by the time you leave here. Okay, now here's the dream, and here you are, you're dreaming, and let's ask, how much of a difference could your association make if your membership increased by 20%? And what does it increase year over year? Think of what those dollars could do for your advocacy, to build your benefits, and to help your profession or to help your field or whatever area that your association supports. So part of what we like is we love working with associations because we feel very motivated to support you because we want to support the good work that you're doing. So we're going to help you with that. So does your website or portal reflect well on your association and drive engagement? Many of our clients come to us and they don't want to say that they're embarrassed, but it's not where they want it to be, and they're not sure what direction to go in. Sometimes they have good bones on the site that we can help sort of rework and add some features. But how do you feel about that? How does this resonate with you? You're welcome to mention in the chat. Does your website, your portal, do you feel proud of it? Do your members get what you do? Do your prospects want to connect with you? Feel free to share an idea or a sentiment in the chat.
Or you can go off mute and share your
thoughts. We'd love to hear your voice. Anyway, next question. How many people visit your site that are not captured by a lead magnet? How much traffic is your site getting? Maybe you have these numbers in Google Analytics, maybe with Lucky Orange or another tracking software, and you can see where people are dropping off and not being captured. This all has to do with the user journey. That's where all these questions are coming from, right? Are people seeing the arc through, following that path to engage with your contact, to hook them in and make them loyal fans? Okay, last question. How much time Does your staff spend answering questions by phone or email that should be answered by the content of your site? You want your site to be your business card, your brochure, your pamphlet, everything there. And it should be very easy for your prospects and members to go on your site and find answers to their common questions. Now, what's great about this is that by improving the user experience and user journey for your members on your site and your portal is a win-win situation, because it in turn saves your staff so much money. We have regularly, our clients tell us that they will save up to the value of an entire staff member's work. Let's say you're paying your staff $50,000 a year. They save that, and not that we're getting rid of the staff, but we're using their time better to invest in building partners, building media relations, advocacy, and building up your benefits. Okay, so who are we? You've come to meet with me. I'm Rania. I work for Grype Digital. We're a digital agency. Here's some of our clients here. We build member portals and websites for associations. So we love supporting what you do. We love the complexity of it. We love identifying and helping you see your offerings and your website through the eyes of your users, right? Because you're very close to it. And when you put it all on the site, you know where everything is and you know what everything means. But we help guide you to see it from a fresh set of eyes. And we really always work with you. We offer workshops with all of our clients to start, where we make a path where it's very clear that there will be a return on investment on any digital features or projects you take on. It has to be very, very clear that you will see a return on investment and beyond. Anybody who says, yes, let's do this, it's going to be great, without a guaranteed return on investment, that's a red flag. Okay, so let's jump into the meat and potatoes here. Let's talk about this. So we're going to set the stage. Common issues that associations face. This is what's going on with you guys. The members are not fully engaged. They're not connecting with you. They're not interacting with your benefits as much as you would like. Members aren't using the benefits, right? And members, this is the kicker here. They're not even aware of your benefits. As part of our workshops, we recommend for you to interview some of your members, some of your prospects, and some of your members who lapsed. Ask them for 10 minutes, not just a survey, but really a 10, 15-minute, 20-minute interview to ask them, what did you like? What did you not like? Which benefits did you use? And we see time and time again, because I actually review the footage of the interviews, that the members will say, we didn't know you had that benefit. Or they'll say, I really wish you would do this. And the person would say, well, we do that. And they say, really, where can I access that? So very often we see that you're investing time and energy into creating valuable benefits that are not being showcased to your users, and they don't know how to find them. So we're going to help you fix that problem. So you're losing the audience because it's difficult to find your services and your benefits, okay? Especially without a member portal, especially without one central place where they can like browse it like a menu, like at the grocery store. If you're delivering benefits, like we have an event, here's an email about it. Or you have a newsletter that there's something local happening near you, or, oh, I'm sending an email with something that was in the newspaper about work that we did. It's going to get buried in all kinds of content, you know. Even if it's valuable and interesting for them, it's not catching them when they need to hear it. So they're not able to access something in a central way on a portal. Services are difficult to use. Sometimes it's just not obvious. It goes back to that user journey. How do you interact with it? Is there a confirmation? How long do they have to wait? What can they expect? What if they have a problem? Who do they contact? So this all goes back to the user journey. And this is my magical takeaway message for this workshop: is a confused buyer doesn't buy. And when your user, when you're a member on your website, is confused about what to do, where to go next, they will drop off. And we're going to talk about how to identify and fix those drop-off points later on in the webinar. Okay, this slide, we're going to explain some terms here. Layers of member experience. Okay, so we sort of have these grouping, how each one fits into the next concept. So we have this term user experience. The user experience, UX, this fancy little initialism, refers to how the user is going to feel. How do you want your user to feel? How do you want them to experience it? We've all been to hotels or restaurants that make you feel good or less good. How do we want them to feel? Now, within that experience of how they feel when interacting with you is the user journeys. And it's not one user journey, it's many user journeys, right? So you could have your onboarding process, the application process, the process of joining an event. These are all separate user journeys which have to be mapped out. And we're going to get into specific examples a little later. I'm going to show you some concrete examples. Within each user journey, you have the user interface. So that here is a page or a screen, an email, a mailing, a text message, anything that you're interacting. So what is it that they're looking at, feeling, touching? What is that experience that they're interfacing with? Okay, these are what the terms are. Now, this goes back to what I said before. When you look at all these things together, the user experience, are the user journeys on your website that are set up for your benefits, are they set up through the eyes of your end user? Is it very easy for them to navigate? If you gave them this map, is there a map? Is it clear for them where to go? And are you holding their hand? Or is your site like a dashboard and they don't know where to look next? We've seen plenty of those. Okay, recap time. Okay, little recap. Members and prospects who can't easily navigate the content on your site will be discouraged and disengaged, and they're sooner to drop off. The reality is that we have competition. And the reality is, unless you're like an accrediting body, which is like power to you if you have that, we need to really prove that we're going to take care of our members, and we really want them to meet us. If we want them to buy into us and buy into our membership, we need to show that we buy into them and that it's going to be a clear, enjoyable experience for them to be a member. Okay. User journeys take your users through a path. I'm calling this a path, predicting what they want to interact with next. So for an example, if you offer a webinar recording, and in the webinar recording, you reference a certain framework or template. At the end of the webinar, if you had, did you enjoy this? Would you like to apply this? Here's the framework, please apply. Please use the framework. And then once they get the framework delivered to them via email or downloadable, let's say you offered at some point a 20-minute meetup with them to follow up with them to ask how they enjoyed it. So these are part of the user journey experiences, how you want them to lead them through using your services. And you want to build your website through the eyes of your members, your prospects, and other end users. Now, because you have so many users, right? You have advocacy groups, and you have your boards, you have your members, sometimes you have tiered memberships. It's a really good idea to, as soon as possible, as soon as appropriate, create an opportunity for your user to self-identify on the site, right? So are they a donor? Are they a prospect? Are they currently a member? And I'm going to give you some practical examples of what that looks like later on. Okay, sure. Oh, let me take a minute. Any questions? We're holding on? Some thumbs up? Doing okay? Okay, if you any time you want to go on mic, I'd be happy to hear from you, and feel free to mention in the chat as well. Okay, let's talk about journey mapping. User journey sounds great. We want beautiful user journeys. Okay, let's map these out. Just like you want to plan a vacation, you wouldn't go without planning your days. We want to map out, really take pen and paper and map out what you want that to look like. Okay, so map out the journey you want for your users to experience. And by mapping it out, you will not miss a step, right? We're not going to make any assumptions, and we're going to think, what would I expect next? What would I want next? And how am I going to impress them? Okay. And we want to include in the general big picture here, all your major steps. So I have here a little lightning bolt action here. This is going to show up when I'm going to give you a more concrete framework for how to apply this. This is sort of like big picture items, but later on, we're going to give you a concrete framework. Now, here's an example of a user journey map, okay, with a new member sign up. This is sort of a general one, and we're going to go through it together. So let's say your lead is interested, they want to join you, and let's say your process is that you have not just your application process has to be an approval process. So in order to access the application, you have to create an account to access the application process, okay, on your portal. Then they would apply. And let's say your membership is complicated. There are lots of questions. They have to look up dates. They have to look up all these things. So you would maybe break that up. This here has one ping, but if your application process is sophisticated, you could even break that up into different pings and different steps. Then you would have, let's say, a payment step. Over here, we're jumping, once they pay, once they're approved, they would have a welcome email. But wait a second. What about that approval process? If you have a sophisticated approval process that maybe will require an interview or reference checking, you might have additional steps here on the user journey. I'm seeing some questions. Nikki, anything coming in? No? Okay. So you get that welcome email. Then you might have an onboarding series of emails. Okay, so this they put here as one ping, one drop on the journey. But let's say you have tiered membership, right, for different levels. You might have a different onboarding series there. Or let's say you have members that were members for 1 or 2 years or 10 years and then took a break and then came back. Are you going to offer that member who already had the initial onboarding experience the same experience as when they joined the first time? Or is there going to be a unique experience? That's a really nice way to show your members that you cater to where they are at in their careers, where they are professionally, what their goals are. Nikki, anything in the chat for me? We're doing good. Any questions?
Yeah, we're good. We just welcomed Stephanie.
Okay, great. Then we have here your events. Let's say in this example, the first place you want them to do is that you measure engagement by how if they attend events. And it could be your association defines that differently in terms of engagement. But let's say in this example, you want them doing 2 events and then you want them to register. So this is sort of a little example. Now, question, are there any steps that are very involved, that are demanding, that take time? If that's the case, your user in their journey on your site, through their application process, through the registration process for events, they don't know what to expect. What we do know is that people have short attention spans and busy lives. And if it's more than what they bargained for, they're going to back up. So the smaller, a little micro step, a micro commitment, a small amount of time you're asking for, this is the way to keep them on the journey. It's like when you're on the phone, you say, just one more thing, just one more thing. If you say, I'm going to need half an hour, the person's going to say, let's have rebook, I don't have time. But just saying one more thing, that's sort of what we're trying to do, lead them with little breadcrumbs where we want them to go. Any questions? Okay, let's see it. Let's see some real user journeys. So let our first journey begin. I'm going to leave this presentation now, and I'm going to take you to one of our clients, okay? 1 second here. This is the Writers Union of Canada. They've been with us for a while. They started off with a workshop. They weren't ready to do a full launch or big change, but we made changes to their website. We have launched their portal, which I'm going to show you next. But we made changes just to the user journeys of their site. We didn't do a full website makeover yet. That's coming in the next stages of development. But let me go through this with you and let me know if you need me to slow down. So here, they wanted to start with their announcements. This changes depending on what's going on. But originally, this was like a dashboard. They had all kinds of content here. They had promotion code, join with a friend, awards, all kinds of stuff here. And we said to them, are people engaging with this? Are they clicking with this? Where do they go? Where do they want to go? And they said, well, really, our most popular pages are about agents, literary agents, about publishing. We said, well, that's what they want. They're writers. They want to get published. So right away, what are these keywords we have on the homepage? Getting published. This is what their prospect wants. We asked to finish the manuscript, have a story idea here, and then we're going to offer them a lead magnet. This is really, really key. If you don't have these peppered all over your site, let's talk. Let's make a meeting. Let's figure out how to turn your website into a marketing machine. I can share with you that when the Writers Union came to us, they were getting about 1 lead a week from the website. That's low, very, very low, considering they don't have, there's no other body for writers, association writers in Canada. So after we set this up for them, right away, they said to us, wow, we're getting 16 leads a week from these lead magnets, okay? So they can download their FAQ. But let's say they're not ready to download yet. They want to keep browsing. We start with some, what they call social proof, some credibility here. Names and faces, this goes a long way. And this rotates as they stay on the page. We have some quotes from members who have been impacted in a positive way by being a member. And they can keep going. How TWUC supports its members. They're offering here advocacy, community, opportunity, professional development. And then we're saying that we're going to offer contract advice. This sounds like really good stuff. Download a sample of our resources. This is the second lead magnet, right? Now, please notice how very clear this is. You're not asking your viewer to look at 4 different parts of the site. Your eye line goes to one idea at a time because a confused buyer doesn't buy. So here they are. They have the opportunity to download a lead magnet. You're going to catch their information here. And then here, winners announced. This is they have their awards that they give out. Now, this is an engagement opportunity. Read more. They can learn more about this. Member announcement. Now, this is giving them a taste of what it is to be a member. Ooh, if I'm a member, I will have my own content and information, posts about my book launch, book signing, parties. I can make my own committees. All my announcements can be put here on the homepage of the website. This is really good. So this is an example of a user journey where they get an idea of what it will be like to be a member and what the experience will be like for them digitally when they interact with us. Any questions? Feel free to jump in. So I'll give you another taste here. This is their current site now. And if you notice here, it says here, member login. And the way their navigation works is that when you scroll over the navigation, there's drop-down menus and there's drop-down menus. And some of these even have like a third drop-down menu, if I could find one of them. And basically, it's not clear what the users are looking for. For example, awards. Is the person visiting the site looking to learn about these awards? They don't even know what they are. It's not meaningful for them yet. Here, supporters. It's great that they have supporters. Is that why people are visiting the site? This isn't the best use of real estate, as we say. So we've launched actually this week their portal into their hands. It's beautiful. I'm going to show to you how we change things for them. What happened in their old site is that they had their member portal and website connected on one platform. And when they logged in, they would have access to even further drop-down menus. The drop-down menus would populate more extensively with more content. And it created an overwhelming experience for the user who didn't know what any of these buttons are or terminologies are or resources are. And it's hard to know where to go next. So user journey was the word of the day for this association, and we worked with them. So here we are in their portal. Once they log in, this is the beautiful login page that we set up for them. Once they're in, it's super clear and super clean. Okay, this is the navigation. No drop-down menus. It's very clear. Events, that's how they measure engagement. Resources, all there. And they can update their public profile and they can update their membership information. All of that little stuff, renewal, change of address, change of email, updating when their new publication, updating a URL for a website, everything they can do independently here. There's very little left that they would need to contact the staff that need help with. Of course they can, but it's very, very clear. And you'll notice here, there's a link to visit that website of the association, Rise Union, if they want to. And if you look here, there's a slow reveal of information here. So here, this is all dummy data. This is really just being put into their hands this week. But here, they can put their announcements. They can highlight their events. They can choose, do they want 2, 4, 6 events? And here, each of these are a member resource. And it's contained here. They can find out more, download my member badge. And here again, they can visit the resources, the full list here, and events. So because it's not fully populated yet with their real content, but this was just put in their hands under development this week. So we're very proud of it. It's beautiful. And those are some examples of some user journeys. So if I jump back into our presentation, unless you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer. Any questions? Ready to move on?
Yes, there is a question.
Oh, sure. I'd love to hear.
Nicola says, is their main site also a Drupal site?
Yes. Okay. So getting started with journey mapping. This is how we're going to get to work here. So we do this when our clients join us for a workshop, and you're all welcome to do that. It's a 3-part workshop. We sort of hold your hand and help guide you through this process. I'm sort of giving you the tools here to do on your own, a little taste of what a workshop would be like, but this is sort of a snapshot of the process, what it would be. You don't have to be fancy. You don't have to have a little, a graphic with pins like I had set up for here. Just do it on pen and paper. Done is better than perfect. And branch it. Have it branch for your tiered members, for different donors, any way that you can have your user self-identify as a board member, as a prospect, as a veteran member, as a volunteer. Any way that you can have them identify, then you know how to customize the journey for them. And then from there, you can identify any gaps. You can go, yikes, I'm sort of missing some pages. I'm missing some content. I'm missing some links. I'm missing information. Okay, and then you can sort of build out the content that you're missing and getting that outsider's perspective, right? So getting people who are not on your team, who don't know your benefits. It can be your cousin, it could be your neighbor, it could be your babysitter, or it could be us. We'd be more than happy to offer some professional eyes to help you look at this experience. Okay, recap number 2. Be their invisible guide holding their hands through your site. So you want to know You want to know for yourself where you want the users to go next on your site. It should be very, very clear for them. Do you want them to download something? Do you want them to register? Do you want them to read some content that'll inform them better as a member? You also want to anticipate what they want from you. So if they're watching a video, let's say they're watching a webinar, and they think, wow, this is really good content. I wish I had something in my hands that I could bring to my team, that I could bring to my work, that I could put. If you had attached there, like an example I gave before, of a framework, of an SOP, of a template you could provide them, that's really wonderful value for them not to have to go out and do it themselves. And that key message here, keep it very, very simple, very digestible. You don't want to ask a lot of them because this is they're the member. If you go to a golf club, if you go to a gym, we don't want to make it complicated for them. We want to have sort of the impression of a concierge easy service. One second here. Okay, now we're going to go deeper. We're revisiting this slide. We talked about user experience. We talked about user experience. Now we want to get into the practical, the user interface. This is sort of what you're going to see on screen or in an email, in a newsletter. Now, how are we going to do this? How are we going to build these pages to have a positive and successful and financially beneficial user journey? Number one, define the goal of each page you create. Okay? If it's not interesting to your user, it doesn't need to be there. Just because it's something that's important to your internally doesn't mean it has to be on the staff. We tell our clients all the time, work smarter, not harder, and very often less is more. If the benefits aren't being used, if the content's not being read, now it could be that the user journey is not set up for success for them to find that information easily. So you have that's step one. But through interviewing your members and your prospects and asking them, is this helpful? Is this useful? Why aren't you using it? And if the answer is, I didn't like it, I don't want it, or I didn't know you offered that, tell me more. I didn't know it was there. That's where the interviews come in. And you want to create that from the user's point of view. And I'll remind you that's different from your point of view. And make sure you present them with that next step of where you want them to engage next. Okay, is this gelling for you guys? Any questions? We're good? Okay, let's dig a little more into that defining the goal of the page. This is the framework we use. It could be other for other fields or other companies, they might use it differently, but these are the 4 words that when we work with you, we ask you to list out the pages of your site and to list out in which of these categories does this page belong to. And it could be more than one. Is the purpose of this page to inform? Is this to provide information for them? Is there something for them to read, something for them to take home? Is the purpose of the page for them to engage? Do you want them clicking and floating around? Think Facebook. You know, do you want them to hang around and stay here? Do you want, is this a message board? Is this a forum, chat forum? Is there content they can work on and get feedback on? Is this an engage area? Is this a call to action? Do you want them to do anything? Do you want them to register, right? We need to have those nice flashy buttons that are appealing to click on and have them well placed. Or is this for data collection? Are these forms? So depending, if you know the purpose of your page, you can work with your designer. The designers are also, I mean, the good ones are familiar with creating the right amount of copy, the right amount of graphics that are appealing to meet each of these goals. Okay, so a little action item here. I have my little lightning bolt here. The idea would be for you, and we could do this with you with the workshop as well. We could hold your hand through this, which really list out those pages and check which of these types of pages they are. Now, within each page, going a little bit deeper. Are you going with me? Are you with me? We're going deeper here. You want to have on your page a strong opening. You have to clearly define what the page is. What are they getting into? This is helpful because, say it with me now, a confused buyer doesn't buy. You're going to see your drop-off rates happen. You're also going to see them leave this page, and there might be valuable stuff in there. You want to have a reveal of the information, as I showed you, how it's slow and easy, one thing at a time. You're asking them to focus their attention on one thing at a time, and you don't want that dashboard look. And you want to have for each item, ideally, a call to action button or a link linking to the next thing you want them to engage with, because dead ends are not good. So this is my funny sign here. You don't know which way to go, right? We want it to be very clear which way to go. And you want them to present the next step. Okay, let's do a recap number 3 here. Each page has to have a purpose that is relevant to the user, okay? And the purpose of each page should impact the design. There should be a different look and feel depending on how that's that user experience, right? And it should include a few of those core elements, the strong opening, the CTA buttons, and that slow reveal. Now let's talk about something. You are associations, and we've said already that you have a diverse demographic. You have people who are new to the field, old to the field. You have prospects, you have donors, you have advocacy groups, you have all kinds of people visiting your site. And there's not enough real estate, realistically, to ask everyone to self-identify, integrate user journeys and paths for all of them. Your sitemap would be from here to the Mississippi, right? So we strongly recommend, really strongly, separating your member portal from your website. These would be two different websites, and there would be connectivity back and forth, but it's just too hard. It's makes for a very complicated sitemap, and it becomes very, very expensive to disentangle that if ever you want to make changes to either experience for the members or the non-members. So we recommend within your website right away, when someone self-identifies as a member, to take them through a click, through a login to the member portal site, and then everything, all the messaging, the whole experience is geared as a member. And then your website real estate is freed up for everybody else, okay? So the goal of your website is to communicate the value of your work and to become a marketing machine designed to bring you prospects with those lead magnets, okay? Whereas Member Portal has a different goal altogether. It's to deliver your services, okay? Deliver your benefits. Where to start? Where to start? You have many pages, you have many benefits. This is part of the framework that we work through our workshops. I'm going to give you a little teaser here. This is how we do it. We ask you to list the features on your site, right? And we ask you, tell us which features are used by many users, which are the most popular features. This would be a good place to start creating a successful, thoughtful user journey. You also want to ask which features are used the most. So this might not be the many people using them, but if a small amount of people are using them often, and that's lucrative to you, let's say a donation area, this would be a very important place to look. And the other area is where you know there's value. You've created something fantastic. Why isn't there engagement? We want to really make a robust user journey here to improve the engagement there. Is this making sense for everybody? Some thumbs up. Okay, 1 second here. I did a little jumping here. Pardon me. My mouse jumped. Okay. This is something I wanted to throw in because this is at the core of our values at Grype Digital. We have a very global team. We have an inclusive team, and part of creating an inclusive culture and part of what I believe is the culture of 2021 is creating an accessible environment. Hi, Alison, welcome. I'm Rania. So having an accessible world and an accessible environment where people of all levels of ability and can participate as a member and participate with your membership, right? So in a digital world, we can really include many people. And in a world where, let's say, 10% of people live with disability, and even more with those invisible disabilities, having a member portal that is set up with accessibility in mind will increase your potential to bring in more members and increase your engagement. You would be surprised how many people are not engaging with you virtually because it's not set up with their needs in mind. Now, this doesn't mean some people have sort of negative associations with accessible websites because they can look very dramatic, stark color contrasts or very big words. We're not asking you to compromise the design or flavor. We want you to have a very professional and elegant user experience. But at the same time, there are basic standards, the WCAG standards, the international standards of website standards for visibility and disability. There is no template software out there at all, none of them that meet their standards. And by creating a website or elevating your website to meet these basic standards, it makes your membership and your benefits more accessible to other people. So this is David Berman. He's a family friend and a friend of Grype, and he is an international speaker, author, advocate for inclusive design and web accessibility. He is a UN special advisor and advisor to our Canadian government. And he actually spoke on our podcast, fantastic podcast. It'll be up on our site soon. It's on the cutting room floor right now. And he actually met with us and he said, I think it's fantastic member portals that are built to be accessible. And it's unfortunate that all these fabulous template softwares that are out there do have their place and are great, but they do not meet the needs of inclusivity. Something I wanted to mention. This we already talked about, pardon me. Now over here, I want to talk about one of our clients, Children's International Summer Villages. They worked with us in the spring. They had a very, very, very sophisticated, they were a sophisticated entity. They had like dozens of chapters. They ran camps all over the world in different countries, different languages, and they offered a lot of scholarships. And the people who were engaging on their site was everybody you wouldn't believe. It was the families, it was donors, it was the campers, it was alumni, it was everybody you could imagine. And it was very complicated. So we really worked with them to simplify, self-identify, create user journeys, and realize that you can't throw everything together and expect people to just connect with what they want to find. It becomes an overwhelming experience. We have to sort of keep it simple and cater it to them. We did a roadmap with them to prioritize the changes they wanted to make. We divided that into chunks and sprints, smaller development projects. And then after each development project, you launch it to your audience, test the waters, nothing like real world testing. And then from that improved place, we rejig the priorities and move on with the next stage of development. This makes it, this is a conservative approach that we recommend that makes it affordable, and you're constantly offering improved value and features to your members. It's more impressive than if you throw it all at once and it's too big for anyone to manage and to learn how to use. And here's Laura Kersey, the executive director of CISV, and she said, Grype helped us realize we could do less while offering better value, a huge savings in time and money. We hear this all the time. Okay, areas that need journey maps. Now, maybe your minds are thinking, where are my high traffic areas? What are my most important sites? What are my most important areas of the site that I want to improve? But just some examples, your application process. Number one, has to be really easy to become a member. And then your onboarding process. We actually have a regular webinar that we do on onboarding. We have one coming up in September. We can share the link for that with you. And the idea here is that when they're a new member, they need some hand holding, right? And if that isn't a very clear experience and it needs to be more than just emails that they're never going to open, we really talk about this in our webinar in more detail, but this is an important area. And then those trainings, we want to offer people follow-up opportunities to apply, make it very easy to apply what they've learned and integrate it. And so it doesn't just exist in their mind and forgotten. And then those events, the events have to, especially if you measure engagement by events, that's really important. And the effort and the time you put into your events. Any questions, everybody? You're doing good? Okay, good. Okay, what's the next step? Okay, you have to always ask yourself, what is the next step that I want to offer? Do I want to offer a video, SOP, templates, checklists, worksheets? And whenever there's a dead end on your site, your Google Analytics will tell you this. Whenever there's a dead end, people just close your screen, they go to the next site. You want to make sure there's a loop that takes them somewhere else on the site. So I wanted to show you one of our clients, CCAN. This is Colleges and Institutes Canada. I'm going to leave my presentation and take you over here for a second. So this is like the association of all the colleges and institutes across Canada, and they work together and they help. It's very, very complicated, all the different provinces and schools and their boards and their administration and their students. And they also work with the government to provide scholarships and placements for immigrants to offer educational opportunities. So it's very, very sophisticated. But on their site, it's very, very easy to engage with, learn more right away. You can see here, okay, skills, I want to click here. Where do I want to go? What interests me? Do I want to learn about COVID in school, news, perspectives? You can click in, read more. It's very, very easy. Some spotlights here. Let's say I want to go back up and check their navigation. Okay, what we do. Let's say I want to go here and learn about what they do. Okay, I'm looking here. I can see what they do. Ooh, mentorship. I need mentorship. Let's say this interests you. And then when you come here, ooh, mentorship program, mentors, mentees, ooh, an opportunity to self-identify. Do I want to become a mentor, or become a mentee? This is great because it's very hard on one page to speak to the message of the mentor. You want to change someone's life and you want to encourage them, but nobody wants to feel like the taker, right? So it's better for the mentee to look at different content, okay? So this is a great example of self-identification. Let me jump back into our slides here. pardon me. And let's keep going. Okay, customizing user journeys. This whole workshop has been, this whole webinar has been about creating those customized user journeys. Now, there are a lot of template softwares out there and they do a lot of good things. If your template software is working for you, stick with it, that's great. Clients come to us very often because they're growing and their stakeholders are becoming more varied and they're not able to create the user journeys that they want with their template software because it's templated. They're not able to create the branching that they want, the buttons where they want them. And so they come to us for a more custom experience. And it's very, very important. You want to make sure that the site that you have is capturing all the data that you can, all the forms, who's visiting, all of those things. You want to make sure you're capturing as much as possible, which can be challenging if you're not able to set up what you want with the user journey to integrate with your CRM. And then the good template software, because I've spoken with every single company, I can't even tell you, I've spoken with all of them. And I have a whole spreadsheet to show our clients during the workshops. If it's not a good fit for us, I say, look, it's not going to fit for us for custom. You're not there yet. Here's all the products out there. I can tell you that all of them are a little bit sneaky. They have tiered offerings and you pay depending on how much access you want and how many features and how much customization. And at that point, you're paying to customize this templated software. You might as well build something that really is going to soup up your lead generation and your member retention. Okay, so here's a little talk about tech. We are a tech agency. We do to build with software. We work with Drupal and CiviCRM. There's a lot of stuff out there. We can talk to you a little bit about those, but we really specialize in these two in terms of like the Canadian market. We really are one of the bigger players in these spaces. And you're probably familiar with WordPress. WordPress is very, very popular, comes out of the box, lots of themes, really good. In our experience, because associations work with like really sensitive data with financial information, personal information, we find that Drupal is what we recommend because it's safer. The code is really, really, really clean. It does not get hacked. It doesn't break. We find our clients who use WordPress are often running to us or running to their developers looking for help because something's broken or there's a bug, because they're always adding and changing plugins to WordPress, which makes it super fun and super flexible. But there is a lot of, it's common for it to break. And then CiviCRM, we really, really recommend it. It's super powerful. The amount of customization, you can add any fields you want, you can pull any reports you want, and this really will inform your choices in terms of financial decisions and marketing moving forward. It's really, really, really powerful. This is a little bit more about open source software. I sort of touched on these points before, that the Drupal and CiviCRM, we recommend it for associations that really have specific needs, specific detailed benefits that need more customization. And it's tremendously customizable. And in terms of what to expect, you will need help to build the website. It's free software. Anybody can use it. It's free. It's open source. But to build it, you will need some help. And in terms of maintenance, unless you have a developer on staff or someone who's really, really, taken some training or comfortable in the space, you will need some maintenance going forward with your security updates, addressing any bugs, if ever you want to add any more features on the site, and having a developer like us work with you on that front. Now, echoing back to David Berman, who talked about accessibility and inclusivity, he wrote a fantastic, fantastic book that I recommend. It's called Do Good Design, with the word design crossed out because he's a graphic designer. And in his book, he says it's really incumbent upon all of us to build a better society for everybody. And he calls on everybody to donate some of their time back to other people, to share their expertise and pay it forward. So in the spirit of that, we want to offer associations who we know. I have all your questions here, which we can get to. If you want to stick around, we can get to some of those. Everybody's asking, we have a limited budget. Where should we begin? If we could do 1 or 2 or 3 things, where should we start? We want to help you, give you that start. You can book a call with us. Nikki's going to put our link in the chat to book for a 1-hour audit. And this picture isn't loading here, but basically what's going to happen in this audit is that we have a form, like a Google form. We work with you and we ask you those questions. What's on your site? What's on your portal? Is it easy to find login, registration, renewal? Is it easy to join events? Is it easy to access benefits? Is it clear? We're going to help you gauge your user journey experience. Where are you losing people? So we're going to help you with all of that. So if anybody's interested in that. We're going to post it in the chat, and we can send you an email if you have more information. If you like more information. Now, takeaway thoughts. Before we get to your questions, I'm happy to read. You can all learn from everybody else's questions. I'm happy to go through them. Do you guys have any idea after this workshop, any feelings about if you separate, if you divide up your user experience of your members, of your prospects, if you help them self-identify through splitting up your portal and your website and creating those specific user journeys, how do you see that impacting the performance of your site and bringing your website in as a valuable money-making member of your team? Any thoughts you want to share in the chat? Or anything else? Any messages for me? Anything? Any other questions you have? Happy to answer. In terms of keeping in touch, we'd love to keep in touch with you. My name is Rania Francoeur, our chief digital strategist who works with all of our clients to develop the strategy to see their user journeys and see their member retention and engagement grow. His name is Farhad Khan, and he loves keeping in touch with all the attendees of our workshops. He loves helping you see those next steps through, just like we encourage you to have sort of a next step of what to do and how to improve and how to thrive for your members. We sort of want to offer you that same experience, and you'll be hearing from him shortly, I'm sure. He loves keeping in touch. And if you have any questions or if you want to, we post all kinds of great content. We network with other great professionals for associations. And if anybody wants to join us for a workshop, really, we're here to help hold your hand through this process. We offer, these templates and frameworks to our associations for free. We find oftentimes you guys are running on the treadmill. There's so much to do, and having those workshops set up, and you're going to meet with us next week for 3 weeks in a row. It gives you the incentive, a little kick to make sure you do your homework, you get your data organized, and you can make those decisions in a timely way. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. I'll be happy to go into gallery here and answer some of your questions.
We have a question, Rania, from
Sure.
Megan.
Hey, Megan, we'd love to hear your question.
Yeah. Do you have to use CVCRM as your AMS to describe services?
To what, sorry?
To use our services. Do you have to use CVCRM?
So to work with us?
Mm-hmm.
No. You don't have to use CVCRM. To do a workshop, anybody can come, and they're very popular. They're only $500. They're super affordable. We really do this as a gift to associations to get them started. There's no commitment. You don't have to work with us. If you work with CVCRM, we can sort of do more for you because we're experts in that field. Like, we wouldn't be able, like, if you asked us, how do I make a report with this, or how do I customize this with IMIS or other platforms, our team wouldn't be equipped to quickly. And we also offer 24-hour service. We have telephone operating support in different time zones. So we are truly able to offer 24-hour service to our clients. We have, on top of like the portal builds and website builds that we do with our clients, we offer maintenance programs. So for maintenance programs, you wouldn't need to use CVCRM. We would be able to help you with your features and this sort of stuff. We strongly recommend it. I can tell you that our clients who are using other platforms have complaints that our CVCRM clients do not have. So in terms of, if you want to talk about what a data migration would look like, or if you want a demo of CVCRM, we offer free quickie demos. We can show you how easy it is to track everything. Nikki can even share that demo link in the chat if you want to book something. And you can bring your questions there and tell us where your CRM is falling short now. And we can say, okay, we'll see our CVCRM solve these problems for you. Does that answer your question, Megan?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Any other questions? Urko, you're looking at me. What do you got for me?
Oh, just a compliment. I just have been learning. Thank you. You've been very clear, very helpful, very easy to follow. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Urko. I really appreciate that. What about you, Victor? You're on camera. Talk to me.
No, thank you for all the information. This is wonderful. I know a little bit about this, but you made it all clear. I don't know if we can use your services, but I booked something anyway. We're very small. We use Wild Apricot. We're just starting.
Yeah.
And we have just 30 members, but we want to grow it in the next couple of years to about 200. And I know that this basic stuff that you might be able to guide me through will help us. And hopefully at that point, we can engage you too.
Yeah.
So thank you for this.
Yeah, I think that's really where we're at, that like not everybody's a big fish, and we get that, you know, and it's so important to support people, to pull them up. That's really part of our culture. Many of our team members here on our team are immigrants, and we sort of like, if people hadn't helped us out, including myself, I mean, I came as a child, but it's really important to pay it forward to people who have less, their budget is less, their membership is less. So if we can support you, please book that call, and we'd love to see you again, Victor, to help guide you next steps.
Yeah, thank you.
If there are any questions here, I'd be happy to answer, or you can stick around if you're shy, and I can go through the questions that were submitted before the workshop. Should I continue with those, or anything here from you guys? Allison, any questions? I think you joined late. I'm going to welcome you. I'm Rania. You're welcome to come on mic. What about you, Kara? How you feeling? Should we dive into the questions? Nicola, how you doing? Okay, let's see what I got here. You good? Thumbs up? Okay, I love it. Okay, so let me see what questions I have from you guys here. So let me see if I have a question from Kara. I'm going to you, girl. Question was, how to easily enhance or improve member portal with limited staffing resources that we hear, small staff, all who are in Victor, we're talking to you here, and no devoted membership marketing department. Okay, so I would say we would definitely need to book some quality time to look at you specifically, but in big picture, broad strokes, the big questions I would ask you is, how easily is it for members to browse your services and resources? I can tell you 9 out of 10 of people that come to us are like, oh my gosh, we do not have this page on our site. It's not easy for them. They don't know what they're buying into when they become a member. And then once if they are able to access those, how easy is it to register and engage and connect with someone? If it's a confusing experience, if it's an arduous experience, they're going to disengage. So that's sort of like broad strokes answers, but does that help a little bit, Kara? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. Let's see who else is here. Who else is still on the call? Oh, you have a question from Nicola. Have you seen a drop in membership signups in 2021? Are there any trends other organizations are seeing? Okay, yes, of course, we are definitely seeing the data shows that all associations took a hit during COVID, between people, you know, God forbid, losing their jobs, money being tight and not being able to go out, events going down, registration going down, everything took a hit. I can tell you that now with vaccines, things are opening up. We do see a swing of people are showing more interest, they're opening up again, but it's a great time now for a win back campaign to win back your members who left you during COVID. Reach out to them. We offer them a little incentive, something, a little prize, you know, whatever you can do depending on what you offer. But this is a great atmosphere now to run a win back campaign, which we're going to talk about in our podcast in September. We have Scott Osser coming on as our podcast guest. He's an expert in the space in communicating with members, and many of you here had questions about, you know, the cadence of communication, how frequent is okay without being annoying. We're going to talk about all of that with Scott Usser. If any of you want to join that, Nikki can put it in the link. We're also going to be posting our future events in our social media on LinkedIn, so you're welcome to follow along with that. Who else is here in this podcast? Oh, who's left here that'll answer the question? Well, I'll answer some of these questions here if you're interested. How would you find out what is the perfect journey for my member? How do you investigate? And how do you measure that? Okay, so again, please book a call with us. We're happy to do an audit with you. In broad strokes, I can say, if you use Google Analytics or Lucky Orange, or any of those softwares that sort of show you these little videos of where the person's mouse and cursor is going to show you how they're interacting with your page, what they're clicking on, or Google Analytics that sort of shows a flow chart of where they go from one page to the other, can you identify patterns in where they drop off? Where are you losing your members? Okay, so this is really a key point where you need to address the user journey where you're losing them. Okay, you need to engage them at that point. So that would be sort of like broad strokes answer. If you want to talk more specific or get a review of a specific page on your site, you're welcome to book an audit. Stephanie asked, how do you make the member portal sticky and a place that members will sign up on a regular basis? Okay, so we do a webinar about using your member portal to engage your members. And it's not about having the portal. It's not about a beautiful portal. It's not about having everything there. It's about offering value. And do not get distracted You do not need more, you do not need lots, you don't need new every year, but if you're offering valuable content, if your members know that if I need something, if I need help, guidance, advice, if I need to beef up my resume, if I want to know what's happening in my field, if I want to have a voice, if I know that I can connect with like-minded people and enhance myself professionally and personally through the portal, they will come to you. Okay, so that's what we recommend, but it's important to have that place to house those resources where the portal comes in, but really the key ingredient here is value. How are we doing? Any other questions? Should I keep going? Nicola, keep going? Yeah, okay, great. Okay, what best practices exist for ensuring that at least 80% of your members can easily find the resources they need and that you are communicating effectively to the majority? Okay, so we sort of answered this. Is there a page that lists all the benefits? Is it clear how to interact with them? And do they know what the benefits are? How do they know what they are? Sometimes a lot of our clients come to us and they're sort of given like cutesy names to their member benefits, and it's just not clear where are they supposed to learn what this is, what this means, how to engage with this, how they benefit from it. So in part of our onboarding workshop webinar, which is coming up, we'll post it on LinkedIn and you can follow us and see when it's coming up. Part of what we talk about is how do your members learn about your member benefits and what the value is to them? How does it speak to them? So we recommend having cute little videos of members demonstrating how to access it and how it personally impacted them. What else do I have here? We have a whole list of questions. I grouped them all together, all about frequency of email cadence, optimal email series. How do you follow up without being annoying? All of this stuff will be specifically addressed in a month in our podcast episode. But these are great top questions, and it's not easy to answer on one foot in a generalization because it depends on who your members are. We have one association, and they tell us our members do not want to buttons, they don't want flashy, they want really, really simple. Who's your audience? Are they a senior community? Are they an immigrant community? Is English their second language? How tech savvy are they? Do they want text messages? It depends. Do you offer options for what's their communication preferences? So it's hard to answer on one foot without sort of knowing more about your association, but these are really good questions, and we'd like to dive in with them with you more specifically one-on-one. Anyway, I think that's taken us to the end of our journey today of our webinar. Any last thoughts? Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming, Allison. I think you missed the beginning, but we offer these workshops periodically because there's a big demand for user journeys, onboarding, those sort of key topics people talk about. And we're going to reach out with you on LinkedIn. You'll see when our upcoming events are coming up. Thanks. Bye, Kara. Thanks for joining.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Nicola.